A dimly lit cell, the air thick with the scent of damp stone. A prisoner paces, his chains clinking softly. The judge's words echo in his mind. You will be hanged on one of the next 5 days. The execution will occur on a day you do not expect it. The prisoner nods, then pauses. A flicker of a thought, a glimmer of hope. Wait, he thinks, this can't be true. Over the next days, he constructs an unassailable logic. If the hanging is scheduled for Friday, the last possible day, he would know it's coming because it couldn't be postponed further. Thus, Friday is ruled out. But then Thursday becomes the last possible day, and the same logic applies. By induction, the prisoner concludes the hanging cannot occur at all. Yet, on Wednesday, the guards arrive. Surprise, they say. The prisoner's certainty crumbles. The paradox is laid bare. How could the judge's promise hold if the prisoner's logic invalidates it? The unexpected hanging paradox is a temporal riddle that has confounded philosophers, logicians, and even Supreme Court justices since its formulation in the 1940s. It is not merely a puzzle of prediction, but a challenge to the very foundations of rationality itself. The paradox asks, can logic ever fully anticipate the future, or is there an inherent limit to human reasoning? The paradox unfolds like this. A judge sentences a prisoner to be hanged on a day they will not expect. The prisoner is told it will occur on one of the next 5 days, Monday to Friday, but the execution must be a surprise. The prisoner reasons inductively. 1. Friday is impossible. If the hanging hasn't happened by Thursday, the prisoner knows it must be Friday, the only remaining day. Thus, Friday cannot be a surprise. 2. Thursday is impossible. If the hanging hasn't occurred by Wednesday, the prisoner knows it must be Thursday, since Friday is ruled out. Thus, Thursday cannot be a surprise. 3. Wednesday is impossible. Extending the logic, the prisoner eliminates each day backward, concluding the hanging cannot occur at all. Yet, the execution happens on, say, Wednesday. The prisoner is indeed surprised. The judge's terms hold, but the prisoner's logic fails. The paradox is a contradiction. If the prisoner's reasoning is correct, the hanging can't occur. If the hanging occurs, the reasoning is flawed. The paradox is a self-defeating prophecy. The judge's conditions depend on the prisoner's uncertainty, but the prisoner's certainty, from induction, invalidates the conditions. The flaw lies in the interplay between knowledge, prediction, and self-reference. Philosophers have debated the resolution for decades. Key interpretations include epistemic view. The prisoner's induction assumes perfect knowledge of the judge's rules, but uncertainty is inherent. The judge's promise doesn't guarantee the prisoner's awareness of the rules. Temporal view. The paradox conflates logical possibility with actual occurrence. The prisoner's induction rules out days logically, but the judge's choice operates in the physical world, where logic alone cannot constrain outcomes. Game theoretic view. The prisoner's certainty creates a self-fulfilling limitation, but the judge can still choose a day that remains surprising in the prisoner's mind due to their flawed reasoning. The paradox mirrors the liar paradox, segment 12, where self-reference creates unresolvable contradictions. Both expose limits in formal systems. Logic cannot always account for the interplay of knowledge and prediction. Exploration of implications. The unexpected hanging paradox is more than a logical puzzle. It is a probe into the nature of knowledge, prediction, and human limitation. 1. The limits of induction. The paradox reveals that inductive reasoning can lead to false certainty. The prisoner's logic is mathematically sound, but fails to account for the judge's external perspective. This echoes the problem of induction posed by David Hume. Just because the sun has risen every morning doesn't mean it will tomorrow. The prisoner's induction assumes the judge's rules are static, but the judge's freedom to choose disrupts this. 2. The illusion of control. The paradox questions our belief in predictability. We often assume that logic can unravel any mystery, yet the hanging surprise suggests that outcomes can defy even rigorous analysis. This ties to quantum mechanics, segment 6, where uncertainty is inherent, and chaos theory, where small changes yield unpredictable results. 3. The role of surprise. What defines surprise? The prisoner's certainty creates a paradoxical loop. The more they think they've eliminated possibilities, the more vulnerable they are to the unexpected. This mirrors the Sorites paradox, segment 11, where categories like heap or surprise lack clear boundaries. 4. Legal and ethical dilemmas. The The paradox highlights ambiguities in legal language. A judge's promise of a surprise execution is inherently contradictory. If the prisoner's logic invalidates the terms, was the sentence just? This ties to debates about the rule of law and the limits of judicial authority. 5. Gödelian reflections. Like Gödel's incompleteness theorems, segment 12, the paradox suggests that systems of logic cannot fully anticipate or constrain themselves. The prisoner's induction is a Gödel-style self-referential statement. This hanging cannot occur because I've proven it cannot occur. 6. The comfort of ignorance. The paradox offers a strange reassurance. Perfect prediction is impossible. Just as we cannot know a particle's position and momentum, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we cannot fully anticipate the future. This humility might be liberating, freeing us from the burden of certainty. 7. The paradox of prediction. The paradox mirrors real-world unpredictability. Stock markets, weather, and human behavior defy forecasts. The prisoner's fate is a metaphor for life itself. Often, outcomes are shaped by forces beyond rational analysis. 8. The illusion of rationality. The paradox challenges the Enlightenment ideal of human reason as an infallible tool. Like the liar paradox, it shows that logic can unravel when faced with self-reference or infinite regress. 9. The ethical dimensions of surprise. Is it ethical to withhold information to preserve surprise? The judge's promise hinges on the prisoner's ignorance. This raises questions about transparency, autonomy, and the right to know. 10. The cosmic scale of uncertainty. The paradox mirrors the universe itself. If even a simple prediction like the hanging's date is ungraspable, what hope do we have of understanding grander mysteries like dark matter or consciousness? The unexpected hanging paradox asks, can logic ever fully predict the future? Russell's paradox asks, can mathematics ever fully contain itself? Imagine a set of all sets that do not contain themselves. Does this set contain itself? If it does, it violates its definition. If it doesn't, it must. This is Russell's paradox, a self-referential contradiction that shattered the foundations of mathematics. Like the hanging paradox, it reveals that even the most rigorous systems, logic, law, or set theory, cannot escape the shadow of self-reference. The prisoner's certainty unravels. The mathematician's set collapses. Both paradoxes remind us that human knowledge is a fragile edifice, built on assumptions that may, at any moment, crumble beneath us. As we turn to Russell's paradox, we shift from the paradox of prediction to the paradox of containment. The hanging's contradiction is temporal, Russell's is mathematical. Both ask, can we ever truly know what we think we know? This expansion weaves the unexpected hanging paradox into a meditation on prediction, logic, and the limits of human knowledge. It avoids bullet points by using narrative and philosophical exploration, maintaining the reflective tone. The transition bridges seamlessly to Russell's paradox by contrasting temporal uncertainty with foundational mathematical contradictions.